The Furious Five, the five questions that I ask all guests. Number one, what advice would you give to a student trying to pursue a career in public health?
Spend a lot of time with AI. Um, Basically, AI is just going to help us get better at solving all the problems that we're interested in solving. So get familiar with how to use AI in your work, whether that's just helping you write quicker, helping you brainstorm ideas. Um, you know, I think like the idea that someone would even go to college in like 30 years, I don't even know if that's obvious. Right? I think if I were a young student or if I was communicating a message to a young student, it's just like understand that the world is going to be changing very rapidly over the next several decades and be open to a completely different landscape of what opportunity means and what you will be doing with your time. And the way that you stay open to that is by constantly learning. And so, yeah, stay on the forefront of technological changes and be smart and humble enough to pivot from whatever the traditional matter is. And also, I guess you could say confident or courageous enough to follow that intuition because you're probably right. And you're at least not wrong about the current landscape being completely eroded. You may not necessarily be right about the direction that you're about to head, but you get more right as you try. You test more. So, um, yeah, that's what I would say to a student. Game's about to change. Make sure you're up to speed.
Number two, if you're talking to someone wanting to get into your position, what advice would you give them?
Yeah, pick a big problem to solve. I don't really think that we have anything better to do with our time on Earth, but solve big problems or even little problems. But um, yeah, I'm really interested in solving big problems. It's fun to me, and if that's something that's fun to you, and like there hasn't been a single day over the past 2.5 years that I woke up and I'm like, man, I got to go to the office and respond to emails and talk to users. Like there, not a single day, and I think there's something special about that. And I think I wish it for everyone, you know. But it comes with, or it's rooted in like a big vision to solve a big problem. Um, to be able to sustain that motivation and desire to do this work every single day. I would say if you want to be in a position like me, and again, we're you know nowhere near the finish line, but I do think that there's something to say about my current state and just like the flow that I feel like I'm in. That is valuable. And so, yeah, if you want to get there, think really big and minimize your expenses.
Number three, what's something you're working on improving in your life right now?
Mm, let's see. I mean, technically, I'm trying to break my personal best in the 5K this year. So I ran 15:30 in college, and my goal is to run faster than that this year. I would say, like on a more personal level, um, I don't know if I'm actually trying to do this or if I just think it's maybe something I should do soon or eventually. But once I have a team, see, right now I'm pretty much doing everything. Yeah, nearly have 7 jobs within my company. But as I bring team members on um and able to take things off my plate, just trying to understand exactly how I shift back into a more balanced life. Because there's nothing there's nothing in my life that's, I would say, balanced, except for that I'm consistently working. I guess there's some balance to that for the business, but um, yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'm interested to see how I shift back into just adding other priorities to my life outside of business, health, and family. Um, yeah, so I'm thinking about that a lot. You know, I wouldn't say I'm necessarily working on it just yet, but I am curious to see how I adapt.
Well, I hope that you are able to gain maximum of that joyous time in the near future,
Hmm.
to do
No, don't
with
get me
it
wrong. This
whatever you
this
like.
is this is joyful too. Like that's my point. Like I don't really feel like when they say you're out of balance, I don't really feel like I'm out of balance. And in fact, when I try to incorporate more quote unquote balance, I feel a little distorted. Um, Also, probably because there's just like 75,000 things I got to do every day, and any time away from it is just a lost opportunity. Because as an entrepreneur, you have to do everything, but you don't have to do anything. And so every day, like you choose it, and that requires a lot of focus.
That's real. That's real. Number four, professionally, do you recommend anything?
Mm, professionally, can I get more context?
A book, a
Mhm.
piece of advice,
Got you.
podcast,
Mhm.
anything like that?
Yeah, for entrepreneurs, how I built this with Guy Raz or Raz,
Mm.
it's a podcast. Stories are really powerful, yeah, especially for entrepreneurs because it's a really hard game and really only entrepreneurs understand. And so I talk to a lot of my friends who are entrepreneurs all the time, and just to talk. I like to say that I outsource my mental health to other founders because friends aren't they're gonna get it, but not the same way. They, they're not gonna understand what it's like to go from $10 in your bank account on Monday to 25,000 on Tuesday, and then -50 on Friday, and then keep going and showing up. They're not gonna understand that, and so it's important to have these folks. So yeah, I would say surround yourself with people who are going through the same experiences, have the same experiences, and listen to stories like the podcast on how I built this with Guy Raz. Um, Book wise, I like A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. Again, this is about like having your perspective rooted in a way that again allows you to engage the most positively with the world. I really like that book. Fasting. Yeah, fasting is the most powerful tool for extending your lifespan. It also helps keep your mind clear, keeps you healthy. Um, and minimize the number of things that you do that bring you immense joy with minimal effort. Because just like I was talking about earlier, as an entrepreneur, you have to do everything, or you're responsible for everything, but you don't have to do anything. And when we're human beings, and so we're wired to, we're motivated by the reward, whatever it is. And some rewards are attained with minimal effort, right? $15 on a sensational meal, right? Clicking your TV remote, and now you're entertained for hours, however many hours you want, you know? And so I try to avoid doing those things often because it interferes with my willpower. The reward I'm looking for with Bear has a much longer tail than turning on a TV. Not to say that I don't from time to time watch TV, but again, it's just a risk because um, if it takes me 10 years to get the ultimate reward with Bear, um, I need to be able to have the sustained motivation to do that. But if I can go get the fulfillment, the same experiential fulfillment out of watching TV or hanging out with friends or whatever, then when I'm faced with a challenge in the company, it's harder for me to stay with it, to stick with it. And you need that willpower. And so yeah, I would minimize the number of things that basically give you instant gratification on some level. It's a cheat code.
Number five, if there was one piece of advice you'd give to your younger self, what would that be?
Yeah, someone asked me this about a month ago, and it was like keep trying hard. I think a lot of my friends felt like I was it's like naturally talented, but I was really just trying as hard as I could at everything. And maybe I do have some natural talent, and that's great. I'm going to leverage that too. But yeah, just keep trying hard. I think sometimes I felt like I was a try hard, just doing too much, doing the most, as we say. And there's a whole world out here of people who are way more talented than you are, who are trying harder, and there are people who are trying hard to create problems for you and other people. And so you have to become the greatest version of yourself. And you don't become the greatest version of yourself by shrinking to your environment because it makes people uncomfortable. So I would just say try hard and try harder than you think you need to.
Love that. Love that. Well, Kwame, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your journey and a little bit more about yourself and Bear Health. I definitely appreciate it and look forward to all the work that you are going to be doing.
Yeah. No, thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate it. Been on a variety of podcasts, and I just really appreciate the public health essence of this one, and really hope people get a lot of value out of our conversation.